Thank you. Whilst the leadership is sitting down, we have asked delegation leaders to be here in the first three seats and SRC presidents to be in the front. PYA, please, may you have order. Mayihlale phansi ibambe umthetho. Mayihlale phansi ibambe umthetho. Mayihlale phansi ibambe umthetho. Thank you. All right. Our time is now 10:44. As leaders were coming in, we had requested that we are opening officially at 10:45, and we will take a few seconds. We will just, all of us, you bow your head, you will connect to your faith, to your God, to your ancestors. You will meditate and do whatever. It will just be 30 seconds. Then we will declare this open. Let's do so. Thank you. You may sit down. We are 1 hour 45 minutes behind schedule. This is the Higher Education National Convention. And in this room, you will realize that this is not a meeting of vice chancellors. This is not a meeting of students. This is not a meeting of parents. This is not a meeting of government. This is not a meeting of churches. This is not a meeting of civil society. This is not a meeting of unions, but it is a meeting of all of the above. All of them are in one room, and as we said, that we want to make history. In the interest of time, we will be flying on this program. All people that have registered have program in front of them. The time from which was supposed to be 9 o'clock to 11:30 was meant for the opening statements. Before I call the first batch of speakers, I'll introduce myself and introduce some delegates that are here, and they'll be introduced as we go along. Within our midst, we have the organizations that I've just mentioned now that will be speaking. In alphabetical order, it is leaders or conveners of AfriForum, of EFF Student Command, of Fees Must Fall, of SASCO, of YCL, of the ANC Youth League, of PASMA, and a number of other organizations. The judge will be speaking not long to outline why we are here. We have all been invited by what we are calling the forum, the National Education Crisis Forum. He will outline why is the National Education Crisis inviting all of us here. Normally, if Mr. J. Naidu invites me and he's got a gathering, his birthday child, it's a birthday party of his child, I will go to his party, he will tell me why he has invited us. And I cannot then decide that I tell him what the party is about. We have all accepted the invitation. We are all important stakeholders. There is no hierarchy. Therefore, this gathering is declared open, and in it being declared open, in the next 1 minute, there will be the following speakers coming to the podium. It will be Justice Dikgang Mseneke giving us an overview. It will then be the 6 student formations. We have discussed with them. It will be 3 minutes opening statements, just outlining their expectations, no keynote address, and we will be managing time with everybody. After that, it will be Professor Ahmed Bawa speaking, summarizing views globally, representing the VCs, and after that, it will be the Minister of Higher Education. From there, work starts. The opening session is opening statements. The the conveners have agreed that in this session, it is not a discussion, there is no point of orders, there is no exigency, there is no, with respect, we will get there. When we open, no one is being left out. When we open, once we've finished opening and everyone has stated their expectations, then we get to that. Then we get to the program of the week, sorry, the program of the weekend, and we'll deal with that. With respect, can I ask then that this gathering has been declared open, and we will request Justice Dehan Museneke to come to the fore and give us his opening remarks. Thank you.
Good morning to all of you. Good morning. To you, comrades and friends, to very young comrades there at the back and not so young comrades, friends, educators, leaders of wide variety in our society, good morning. The first thing I have to say is to thank you ever so much for coming out here. There's a good, well over nearly 1,000 people who have cared to come out this morning. And I'm going to get to a little more detail in a moment. We're going to have to, throughout the day, try and find appropriate modes of engagement so that we actually can be able to achieve most of those things that we have agreed on in the different provincial engagements and in the many, many meetings we have had, and in particular with the young comrades at university who we have talked to for a very, very long time. I stand here representing conveners of the National Education Crisis Forum. And they are Ms. Santi Botha, Mr. Sillo Hatang, Mr. Jabu Mabuza, Archbishop Thabo Makgoba, Professor Mary Metcalf, Justice Yvonne Mokoro, Bishop Malusi Mpumlwana, Mr. J. Naidu, and Professor Pitika Ntuli. We are here present with a number of very vital partners, and I'll come in a moment and make all the appropriate acknowledgements. We're here with various partners, and these include the South African Council of Churches in its full national representation. As they often tell us, they minister over parents of the young people who are at universities and who have been part of the crisis. We're grateful and thankful that we are so associated with the South African Council of Churches. In turn, through the facilitation of Archbishop Makgoba, we are supported by the interfaith groups in this country who are aware of and who support this effort wholeheartedly. We have yet a partner with whom we've walked a long road, the Nelson Mandela Foundation, that body which we hope continues to be the embodiment of those views of our leader and founding president, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. The Higher Education Parents Dialogue, HERPAD, it represents parents of students who are at our universities, who have been organized nationally, and with whom we have been in close association and who are in full support of this effort. South African University Staff Network for Transformation, SAUSNet, which represents workers who work indeed within this sector. And we gather here today and indeed tomorrow for a critical mission in the life of our nation. The mission is to commit ourselves to truly hear each other in the engagements we'll have today as we deepen our understanding of the crisis we face in education. It is also part of a mission to work with each other towards a resolution of the crisis. And it is therefore befitting that in opening, I should acknowledge the role and support and participation of very many and various stakeholders. And I want to start very unconventionally with the students. We have students from all 26 universities. We have student delegations which comprise of elected student leadership. Now it's the SRCs, as they're often known. We have invited the leadership of student, political, and other formations, as well as including the Fees Must Fall campaign. This convention, in a sense, is a very special tribute to students for their bravery in standing up and calling upon the nation to see the crisis that grips our education system and to take action with necessary urgency. And I, together with my co-conveners, would like to proudly salute the students, not in everything they have done, but in reminding us that there are matters that require to be attended by our nation. Minister, Dr. Nzimande, thank you for being here, sir. No, it's okay. We spent many hours and agreed that we're going to interact in a meaningful way. And we're not, comrades and students, let me again repeat, Now, Minister Nzimande,
Excuse me. Judge. Okay, student leaders, we shall continue with the program. Can all delegation leaders go outside, please? Student formations, let's meet outside. Judge Musanega is continuing with his speech. Continue. Continue. Don't entertain them.
We would like to, hello? I'm going to talk like a madman when they don't. Hello? Shh. Hello? Now, we would like to thank you for your presence here. We value it very, very deeply, and the reason is uncomplicated. This is a matter that ought to be solved not only by society, but also by the state, which is an integral part of the duty that our democracy bears to provide meaningful higher education. We have amongst our midst, indeed, several representatives of government departments, and we have taken time and effort to talk to a variety of organs of state, and these include engagements with the Interministerial Task Team on Higher Education, Department of Higher Education and Training, the National Treasury, the National Prosecuting Authority, and the forum recognizes the importance of the engagements towards the attainment of these results, and state is an integral part of that solution. And that's why we have continued and will continue to work with the state in order to achieve these ideals. In the process of establishing the forum, I personally made time to consult with leadership of political parties represented in Parliament. And to each, very painstakingly, I've communicated the vision of the forum as a mechanism for opening pathways towards resolving what clearly was an enormous challenge towards the end of last year, having started in 2015. And we, as the forum and our partners, we remain encouraged by the endorsement we receive from all leaders of all political parties in order to be able to help resolve this matter. I turn to the presence of chairs of council who are here. We would like to thank you. University, they have a responsibility, a fiduciary one, in order to preserve our institutions and to move them to the highest levels ever. We thank vice chancellors who are here present and members of the Senate of university staff, academic and support in significant numbers. And it is truly encouraging. And again, they are a vital part of the solution we are searching for. And no amount of other thinking would change the fact that we require to work in tandem with universities in order to resolve what is a threatening crisis. I would like to thank parent organizations. I would like to thank faith-based communities, which include churches, traditional healers, and faiths of a variety of denominations who have sent us messages of support and who will continue to support us. Many non-governmental organizations who work in the space of education and non-profit entities have provided a wide range of support and interventions in full recognition of the need to revisit the higher education space, and these include a variety of organizations and the Strategic Dialogue Group. We have invited the Office of the Public Protector, which is here present, led by the Deputy Public Protector. We have invited the Office of the Statistician General, led indeed by the Statistician General himself. South African Human Rights Commission here represented, the Electoral Commission led by its Deputy Chair, the National Prosecuting Authority, with whom we've been having continuous discussions around the prosecution of students. And we have seen here a variety of officials who are connected to the South African Police services. We thank the media for the support they've had up until now. Let me add to say that this effort has had remarkable response and support across the different parts of our society. We're grateful to the Royal Norwegian Embassy, who have been very generous in their support, as they have been in a long struggle of overthrowing apartheid. And we know that Mr. Ola Breivik, the Deputy Head of Mission of the Royal Norwegian Embassy, is here, and we are grateful. We are grateful to Business Leadership South Africa. When the forum requested support from big business, they indeed provided support, understanding the centrality of the challenge that faces us. We cannot have a just, democratic, and inclusive society without properly trained young people who fully appreciate their responsibilities to society. For that reason, we would like to thank AngloGold, First Rand Bank, Absa, Hollard, Imperial Holdings, Investec, Liberty, Mondi, Nedbank, Old Mutual, Telkom Foundation, and the Yellowwood Trust. And we appreciate it is those resources that help us to be able to bring all these students from different parts of this country into dialogue over the last 6 months. We thank the Open Society Foundation, which has continued to support this effort, and we know the Tsogosan Group provided accommodation for all our students, delegates, over the last 6 months in a variety of meetings, and we are truly thankful, Mr. Jabu Mabuza, and that effort was vital to be able to get us to this point. We have mentioned Nelson Mandela Foundation. Eskom, not only has it provided this venue at virtually no cost and its facilities for hosting of the convention, Eskom provided a financial contribution which has assisted the forum in its cost. And I met this morning the head of the facility who came to see me, Dr. Johnson, and once more we are very grateful. Telkom has sponsored a Wi-Fi connectivity for the whole convention to allow our students and young comrades to be in connection with each other throughout the convention. That is the kind of support that we have had. And we've had many, those who arranged this occasion have indeed, in a variety of ways, made contributions, which include Floyd, and who have put together this marquee and the services that you see here, all in support of a broader call for higher education. But why are we here? Education, Nelson Mandela reminds us, is a great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, the son of a mine worker can become the head of a mine, that a child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another, says Nelson Mandela. Well, what did Karl Marx say about education? This is what Karl Marx said: the education of all children for the moment they can get along without a mother's care shall be in state institutions. To the point, close quote. Now, despite these obvious ancient virtues, access to teaching and learning has not been freely and widely accessible to all people at all times. All forms of human oppression and exclusion are premised in varying degrees on denial of access to education and training. The uneven power relations that marked slavery, colonialism, and industrial age, and the information economy are girded in great part by inadequate access to quality teaching and learning. And at the end of a long and glorious struggle against all forms of oppression and the beginning of democratic and inclusive society, we, South Africans, filled with right optimism, guaranteed universal access to basic education. and we must continue to strive for that. We, as a National Education Crisis Forum, came into being at a point when it was quite obvious that there would be a need for urgent intervention to invite civil society in particular to discuss the crisis in higher education. And we took time to consult with a variety of political leaders, indeed starting with the president of this country, with the minister, and with a variety of other stakeholders. Now, the forum is a civil society initiative. The forum is a civil society initiative. It is not politically aligned, and it hopes to be completely independent, with members in it acting in their personal capacity as concerned citizens of this country. And since its inception, we've held many stakeholder conferences with all of you. Over months, over evenings, we have discussed the importance of creating a safe space in which we could be able to negotiate and talk about the differences that exist. And we recognize that the state alone cannot resolve the question. Universities alone cannot, nor can any of the parties alone. And for that reason, we hope, and we had a role in trying to help resolve and bring calm to universities. We continue to call for peace and dialogue in normalizing the situation during universities in 2017. We'd like to facilitate discussions that are about to start right across all the streams that we have. And all of this, as well as the program, we negotiated with all student formations over many hours in order to agree on the structure and the program of this particular convention. And all the speakers have been conveyed to everybody, the leadership of the students, and we're still looking forward to a peaceful interaction as we go through very difficult issues. And these issues are to be found principally in higher education, and they relate to funding. They relate to security, peace, and mediation, the necessary support services for effective learning and teaching, questions, difficult questions of access, transformation and post-coloniality. And finally, we as conveners are working tirelessly to keep all stakeholders engaged in the process, to contribute and find meaningful solutions to a wide variety of these challenges that will present themselves in a much more detailed discussions that will come through in the course of today. Let me say the last thing, and I will do Amen Tanam, not long. I will do that Amen, don't worry, but I hope we'll be able to interact with each other. The one first thing is, we're serious about trying to create a safe space of engagement, and that requires a certain level of discipline. And that requires a certain preparedness to listen to others. I said this to you in various interactions, that true revolutionaries who want to change society from one point to another, one of the gifts they should pray for is to listen to others and to opinions that are different from your own. And that is important, because the more you listen, the greater the chance of formulating strategies that will achieve your revolutionary goals. So again, we repeat, a plea we have made over and over again, let's listen to each other respectfully. And secondly, you come from different tendencies and you have different views. Here, we would like to give everybody an opportunity to be able to state their position without being shouted down by anybody. And no shouting improves the cogency of your argument. So, Bantabam, I am again asking and pleading with you Let's create that space in which we can interact in order to solve the call that you yourselves have made. And the last point is that the interaction has to be nonviolent. It has to be within the context of a democratic mediation of conflict, and above all, mutually respectful way. Again, I would like to thank you for coming. We can never transform our education and reject colonialism without the discipline to be able to achieve those objectives. I wish you fruitful deliberations in the different work streams, and again, thank you for being here. God bless.
Amandla. Amandla. Viva student unity, viva. Viva student struggles, viva. Forward with student struggles, forward. Comrades, parents, clergy, members of government, we are proceeding with the program. Thank you, former Deputy Chief Justice. We have come a long way. We did not wake up one morning and had this convention. We started meetings last year between September and December. We met with student leaders and parents and so on, planning for this convention. But in the last few weeks, we want to share with you anecdotes so that we are able to be in the same room, maybe, if some of us have not briefed each other. My name is Ivan Penyane. I am a chairperson of Higher Education Parents Dialogue. Today I'm a program director here. And we have been facilitating the 9 provincial consultations. And in these consultations, we must say with Professor Pitikantuli, Mr. Jane Naidu, the judges, Professor Metcalf, and all the conveners, that it has been a learning exercise for all of us. That the first 1 hour we will have the student leaders and parents and workers coming out and raising issues. At some point, we thought this convention will not happen. But where we are now, we got student leaders to come together to speak about, there might be 35 issues on the table, but we need to agree on some. Those that are long-term, we will take forward. So, in the next few minutes, we will be asking some student leaders to come forward here to talk about their expectations. I'm raising the path that we have come through to say that today is not just waking up. It is a result of 9 provincial consultations and other consultations. It is a result of consultations of student formations. And we have asked student delegation leaders to ensure that there is briefing. Briefing might not have been elsewhere. We apologize on behalf of everybody. So the student leaders will come here, they will be addressing us in alphabetical order. And they will be taking 3 minutes just to give us their expectations and summary of how they see this convention and the way forward. First, it is going to be the AfriForum. Secondly, it is going to be the ANC Youth League. After the ANC Youth League, it is going to be the... May I finish? After that, it is going to be the EFF Student Command. After the EFF Student Command, it is going to be PASMA. After PASMA, okay, before PASMA, it will be the conveners of the Fees Must Fall. Then it will be PASMA. Then followed by the YCA. Can you come here in that order? Can you? May we continue and say, this convention, in its form and character, brings in everybody. And we are going to ask the student delegations to come forward, and if there's a matter that has got an exigency, we will deal with it in the committee. Can all the student leaders come here? We will address your concerns.
Kaushale Pansike says, I heard you. Kaushale Pansike, thank you. Our universities are communities that have got a diversity of opinions. There is no university for one organization. And the purpose of this convention is to bring people together to seriously engage on the issues that matter to you and to everyone else. And the alternative is ghastly to contemplate. That's why we're here. And so we will appeal to everybody who's here that as we come to this convention to discuss, that's what we should do. This is just the opening session. We're actually going to the commissions where the substantive issues will be handled. And that's where we are going. Now we want student leaders and representation to come and make their points. So let's get the student informations to come up. All the student leaders, please come up front.
Thank you. Okay, let's do this. We have been mediating in difficult situations, and we are ready for any difficult feelings. We've listened to everyone. And where we are at is that as the program continues, and as we went to your campuses, we always said, let's deal with those issues where there is no divisions. Put them aside. And those where you are divided, one or two, we'll deal with those. For the sake of progress, if there is an issue or a protest about a particular speaker, it doesn't mean that the speaker is out of the program. We want to hear. We have not heard what the problem is. We have asked student delegation leaders to brief us what the issue is, but we're not going to wait. So what we're going to do, we will go to number 2 up to number 6. We'll come back to that speaker so that we proceed. The next on the program was the ANC Youth League, Fees Must Fall, and EFF Student Command. Those three, let them come ahead. Okay, it does look like there is consultation. Can we take one song for a minute whilst we're consulting here on what the students are saying? Student leaders, come over here. Once they are coming here, you can take a song. Yes, please, start a song. Okay, so all the student formations can come now and speak. We can take from number 2 while this matter is being resolved. Yes, I've just said that. In whatever order you can come. Who is ready? It looks you're not ready alphabetically. Okay. Okay. All student leaders, please come here. Okay. All right. All the student formations, please come here. Okay. Okay. Can those behind me please end the meeting here? Heads of delegations, please go meet outside. It is not a meeting here.
The Higher Education National Convention has just been opened. Former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke opened the Congress, but there has been a little bit of trouble brewing as when Minister Blade Nzimande arrived, EFF students started singing very loudly, went into the hall and started blocking the proceedings from continuing until they had sat down. Then the program got underway. Judge Dikgang Moseneke thanking everyone for coming together, saying he knows there's going to be difficult conversations that are taking place, but he is grateful for the people who have contributed and the people who have made sure that perhaps they can sit down and come up with tangible solutions. At the moment, the Congress has been interrupted again. AfroForum is supposed to be speaking, the student body of AfroForum is supposed to be speaking. However, student members from the PAC have now started chanting "One settler, one bullet." They say they don't want white people to address them, and there's a lot of anger. We saw former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke trying to speak to students, trying to say, although there's going to be difficult conversations, there needs to be a conversation starting. At the moment, they have stopped proceedings. People are singing, people are walking out of the tent, people are consulting and trying to see if it can continue. There has been a lot of heckling from some student bodies. There's been a lot of heckling of the minister, of higher institutions, of chancellors that are here, basically authority figures that some students say are not looking after them. They are trying to mediate now, the people who have convened the conference, to make sure that students come together, and although they perhaps don't agree with the certain views that are there, that in the end people come together and have these difficult conversations and try and remember the reason that this has been convened is to try and bring all members of society together. That's government, that's education institutions, that's students, that's parents, anyone who is involved and affected by the education crisis that the convener says is happening needs to come together. Unfortunately, it seems as though even though we've just started, it's been about an hour since proceedings have taken off. People are not happy with AfroForum speaking, they're not happy with the university chancellors being here and given a chance to speak, and they're also not happy with AfroForum being speaking. So there have been a lot of disruptions, a lot of singing taking place, a lot of chanting taking place to try and make sure that when students feel as though their voices are not being heard, they don't want anyone else's voices being heard. We will bring you visuals and also interviews with people who are affected by the discussions and the disruptions. For now, it's back to you in studio.
Only 6 people behind me, the other 6 will sit on the first row. Yes, yes, on the first row. Conveners, please give this important leaders a seat. Okay, thank you. Okay, we have consulted, and the view is that the discussion is going on. We do not understand what is it. It will take us another 10 minutes. We'll have found one another. But as it is now, we're going to the number 2 on the list until the end. We'll come back to AfroForum, Saus, and Azasco, who are here. Then we'll proceed. It is 3 minutes. Can ANC Youth League come now? Okay. They are also outside. Who's speaking? If you're not here, we call the next one. EFF Student Command. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Amandla! Amandla! Forward with the struggle of students, forward! Forward with the struggle of workers, forward! Program Director, thank you very much for the platform. It's extremely important that we highlight one thing, looking at what has been happening in the past few minutes, in the past few hours, and also the pronunciations that were made before, where there were insinuations that this platform is not necessarily for students, that we are just like everyone else, that there's no one above us, there's no delegation, there's no one that's important. However, we still feel that students of South Africa, they are the ones, the main stakeholders of this conversation. They must be treated extremely highly. We must be treated as important people. It's extremely important as well to highlight the fact that we know and understand that this whole setup, it will not speak to students. How we are being treated right now shows that you are not going to address our issues. The call for free education, it did not start in 2015. We have been demanding free education. Some of us were still in primary school. There has been a demand for decades. And for us to sit here and be asked to sit in commissions is a waste of time. 3 years down the line, we're still sitting, we must make speeches, we must go to commissions. And therefore, we have a demand, or we have a humble, very humble being the operative word, to the speakers, that number one, this meeting, we are not going to make submissions. This meeting must be where we must get feedback from the government, from the VCs, on all the demands that we have made as students of South Africa, on free education, on transformation, on decolonization, on demilitarizing our institutions. We are also requesting that all VCs are here, and it's extremely disturbing that the very same people that are expelling us, that are suspending us, are sitting in the same meeting with us. It is extremely disturbing. Most of our students are not, they are sitting at home as we speak. Most of our students have not been able to register, they are not able to continue with their academic year. We need that the minister, when he comes here, together with the VCs, they must, in this meeting, pronounce that suspensions and expulsions will be uplifted. The government must also pronounce that charges against our students will be dropped immediately. Number 3, we are requesting that this meeting has a stance on insourcing. We can't still at this point in time be speaking about our parents being paid 2,000 rand, 3,000 rand, and then still being expected to pay fees of 1,000 rand, still being expected to go to work to support families, functional families. People say that black families are dysfunctional. They are dysfunctional because of the system. And it is extremely important that insourcing is a very, very important conversation that we must have. So when the minister comes here, we need feedback. We have been making, we are not in a stage of what is to be done. We are in a stage of we have heard you, we have heard your submissions, and this is what we have done since 2015 on all the submissions that you have made. We need a pronouncement on upliftment of suspensions and expulsions, and also we need a pronouncement on insourcing. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to have this meeting with you as students of South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a delegation that represents a group of Fees Must Fall.
Very clear, comrades. And as the EFFSC spokesperson has already mentioned a lot of our issues, we understand that organizations like the EFF, we understand that organizations like PASMA and others are well in support of the call for free decolonized education. The only organization that we cannot be clear about is AfriForum, and that is why we will continue to contest their participation here, because they have made it blatantly clear that they are not going to engage in the discourse of free decolonized education. Yeah, taking our things. Let's go.
Okay. May we be disciplined, please. Sharabans, please sit down. Please sit down. Please stop it.
Some people are leaving the tent as there are now physical fights. Chairs are being thrown by some students who are represented here. It appeared as though it was students in the SASCO t-shirts fighting with students in EFF t-shirts. On the stage, people are also saying, the EFF Student Command spokesperson saying that they do not want to carry on if their demands are not addressed by Minister Blade Nzimande. Other students also saying they don't want to continue if AfriForum gets the stage. And so what was supposed to be a dialogue around understanding, around bringing different voices together, and making sure that the education crisis is resolved. It is now turned into issues that have not been addressed in the past, and students threatening to disrupt the convention. We're now hearing that they are breaking for 10 minutes in order to try and negotiate with different parties to make sure that there is a continuation of these conversations that are being had in order to make sure that the aggression and the bit of violence that we've seen breaking out in the tent is stopped. We saw delegates who are attending who are not students running out scared, as it appeared that the fight that was happening was going physical and spilling out into the front of the tent. We are taking a 10-minute break. Earlier we saw former Chief Justice Eskom Academy pleading with students who were standing up and interrupting, taking them outside and speaking to them to try and understand what the problem was and to implore them to let the sessions continue. Now, the sessions haven't started. The only thing that has taken place is the introductory remarks, is the welcoming of people and delegates that are here. There are supposed to be breakaway conversations that take place around NSFAS, around transformation, around decolonization, around accommodation and food for students, and how these can all be dealt with. However, these have not taken place. The convention is running late, and it is being disrupted multiple times by different student bodies who feel as though they don't want what's going to take place, who feel as though their voices need to be heard. Their problems have not been addressed, and they say until then they will not proceed. So we've heard from the EFF Student Command as well as the Fees Must Fall leaders. They are saying they do not want to continue. A bone of contention so far is that AfriForum should speak and address the conference. Obviously, all student bodies are represented and all voices are represented, including AfriForum, including the different student bodies that are affiliated to different political parties. Only the Democratic Alliance student body, DASO, is not attending. They have sent their apologies. Otherwise, there is a mix of political ideologies that are at play here. However, PAC started chanting "One settler, one bullet" when they saw AfriForum and AfriForum was announced. They said they do not want white people addressing them, and they especially do not want AfriForum here. They are trying to resolve those issues now, so the Higher Education National Convention is taking a 10-minute break. It's the second or third interruption of the convention, which got off to a late start, and although the media issues are supposed to be discussed at the moment, that has not taken place as yet. What people are trying to do is facilitate a peaceful discussion with the different student bodies. As we say, the interruption was called because members of SASCO and members of the EFF Student Command started fighting with each other. We saw a chair being thrown, we saw people pushing each other, and at that point people in the tent started leaving, scared for the violence that may have broken out even further. What you're seeing now is different members coming outside, waiting for something to happen. There are supposed to be more intense discussions. What was supposed to take place was first a gathering of everyone who is a participant in this convention. Judge Eskom Academy saying there were at least 1,000 people here, and then people were going to break away into different parts and discuss the different issues that come with higher education and the crisis. However, that has not taken place. No specific discussions have taken place, as they keep on being interruptions by the different student leaders and student parties saying they do not want to be addressed by specific people. Also saying that Minister Blade Nzimande hasn't addressed their concerns, and if he does not, there will not be a convention and they will interrupt it. You can see the different political parties outside. PASMA, that's the branch of the Pan-African Congress, outside singing. EFF also outside. SASCO appears to still be inside, and other delegates are here speaking, trying to engage with students, trying to say to them, even though it may not be exactly what they want, they need to come together They need to not disrupt the proceedings, and they need to ensure that there can be this difficult dialogue that needs to be had about the bigger issues around higher education. That doesn't obviously just include school fees, it includes accommodation, it includes food, it includes how people cope when they get to university, and those questions are going to be answered by different people such as Professor Miriam Metcalf, parents, student leaders, members of government, Minister Bladen Zamande, all supposed to sit and have very deep conversations. That's not happening. There are constant interruptions, and we wait to see what happens next. We're live at the Higher Education National Convention. We are waiting to speak to people who are involved with this. We are taking a break as there have been disruptions to the convention. At the moment, we are regrouping in order to make sure that conversations do take place. We're now joined by SABC reporter Mangoba. Talk us through what's happening from your vantage point inside the convention.
Okay, well, I think from the onset it was clear that the students were not happy with the presence of the higher education minister, Bladen Zamande, and from the onset we've seen them boycotting his presence, saying that they are not going to have him speak on the podium. We saw them booing him as well when his name was mentioned. So it's been clear from the onset that they came here not willing to talk, but they're saying that they want action. They're tired of talk, they want action, and they're saying that this is just simply a waste of their time. And they're hoping that out of this they're then finding solutions to this impasse that is currently happening here. So, but what happened inside is that while there were speeches that were being delivered by the different student commands, we saw the clash between those student commands, between the EFF and the ANC, seemingly clashing as their speakers were on the podium. So you can see there's a bit of a hostile sort of a mood between the student formations themselves. And this is, if you remember back to the students, to the Fees Must Fall protest as well last year, we saw some of these tensions are also coming to the light, and so definitely they also had a bit of a part in weakening the Fees Must Fall movement, and seemingly here it's a big issue that has again come back to haunt these talks that are happening today.
Mangoba, when you're covering this and you're seeing the different elements that are playing out, what are you seeing from the convener side, from the people who put together the conference, on how they are trying to calm the situation down?
Well, I think they've been doing their best, and you recall that this meeting is just not happening today. It's not the first time that they are meeting. They've met over a couple of weeks and months to discuss how this is going to be played out today. So there's been discussions that have been happening, and as they did mention before, that they tried to map a way forward, but it seemingly the students have now decided to do their own thing and boycott most of these proceedings. So definitely it was something that they also did not expect to happen, and it seems that they were caught off guard. But they're trying to bring back the calm here, but at this point it's very hard to say whether the proceedings are going to continue normally.
Mangoba, talking to us about the higher education convention that's taking place. We're going to try and speak to Minister Bladen Zamande now to get a sense of what's happening and his view of what's taking place here. Please check the shot if we're sitting. We're joined by Higher Education Minister Dr. Blade Nzimande at the Higher Education National Convention. Minister, thanks so much for joining us. Talk to us about the reason that you came today and your thoughts on what you've seen so far.
Well, I came here because as government we've actually been encouraging civil society, all institutions and organizations, parents, students, traditional leaders, the churches, to be part of this effort of education transformation, in the true sense that education is a societal issue. So when they invited me to this initiative, I said I should come. That is why I'm here and I'm ready to speak. But of course, I'm not the convener. It's an initiative taken by civil society itself. But in terms of what is happening here, I think it must really be strongly condemned. And it's important for South Africans to actually see who is it that does not want dialogue. Because the major challenges that we face, they require that there be dialogue and engagement, like this one arranged for this weekend. So we must strongly condemn. South Africans must also see and be able to isolate these elements who are not even a majority here, but who are just prepared that they are going to disrupt this and grandstand in front of cameras. We have no place for this behavior. We've got two big challenges. Most of our students are sensible, even student leadership, they really want to engage. Most of the workers and their unions, they are very sensible. They actually want to engage. And many so is vice chancellors, council members, and so on, and broader community. So it is very important that we stand together and isolate this kind of behavior.
You've spoken about how it's not an initiative by the department, but it's important for civil society to come together and have initiatives like this. Talk us through what the Department of Higher Education is doing to try and make sure that we don't see the things and scenes that we saw last year around the issue of fees and higher education.
Well, we regard this initiative as part of that, to open a space to talk. On our side, we were going to be outlining yet again what government is doing and is planning to do in terms of making sure that academically deserving but poor and working class students need to be supported and assisted. And as government, as towards the end of last year and beginning of this year, we engaged with SRC leaders, we engaged with vice chancellors, we engaged with council chairpersons, we engaged even broader, including with the people who are conveners here, to actually have a discussion to say, how do we together work towards ensuring that we stabilize our institutions?
You've spoken about the work that you're going to try and do to make sure that certain students don't pay for higher education. We've also heard, on the other hand, when students brought this up last year, Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan saying that it's not possible at the moment, South Africa can't afford that. So how do you balance the need for free education, your want for that, and hearing from another arm of government that it's actually not possible?
No, as government, we've already done a lot since 1994. We've spent billions of rands on the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. We've got graduates, professionals today who have been assisted. We continue to do that. And we've increased NSFAS significantly. This year we're going to be spending in 1 year 15 billion rands in 1 year to assist poor students in the main. So it's not that we are starting from scratch, you know. And already, by the way, remember, there is also a judicial commission that was appointed by the president, which we will come up with suggestion during the middle of the year to actually say what is it that should be done so that we find a lasting solution to this matter.
On the issue of NSFAS, people have said that the fact that it's a loan and not a grant may help students now, but when they go into the working world, it's going to hold them back because it's a loan. And there has been a suggestion when these things come up that it should be converted into a grant. What are your thoughts on that?
We are open to that debate as government. That is why we say let's have dialogue. We are really open to a whole range of views to be able to say, and we are not unsympathetic. We are not saying that's what is going to happen. But we are not unsympathetic to the many views about NSFAS being converted into a grant and also raising the qualification, because the amount of money now is too low. It excludes many students. All those things we are saying to people, take them to the Judicial Commission, but also as government we are prepared to actually listen and engage. That's why we need dialogue rather than confrontation.
Thank you very much. Alicia, Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Blade Nzimande, speaking to us there about not only the conventions that's taking place today, the reaction to some of the comments he got as he was standing, as well as government's plans to solve the crisis that brings us all here today. It's back to you in studio.
Tell if you got anyone.
They're waiting for Adam Habib. Sorry that I keep on throwing water bottles into this. You guys got any more water? Huh? You guys got any more water? Yeah, I'll ask Pablo. Do you have more water? Water? Yes, please. Not, promise, not just for me. How many? How many? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many? 4 of us, yeah.
One, two, director. Director, if you can hear me, you can talk to me on IFB. Yeah. You Kuluma not Clifford. I want to ask you a question. In your own opinion, are these students Kaizer Chiefs fans or Orlando Pirates fans? No. Thank you. It's Orlando Pirates. All right. Sure.
Okay, Selo Hatang is here from the Nelson Mandela Center, and how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. This way, I'm gonna stand this side. Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Come front. You can stand there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. My left. Okay, I'm gonna turn like that. Okay. Do I need to do an introduction? Just start. Okay. 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 Okay, we're just confirming that they're recording and then we're going to come to you. We're just confirming that they are recording and then we'll come to you. Are you ready? Okay. Sorry about the wait. Be another minute. Okay. We're joined by the convener of the Higher Education National Convention now, former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke. Thanks so much for joining us on SABC News. Talk to us about how you got to this point and putting together the convention.
Well, this is meant to be a wonderful morning, and I think it is. We've got all the stakeholders in the higher education sector all together in one room, from the minister on the one hand, right across to foot soldiers of students. And we got off to a start, as most would have seen this morning, and got to a point where the students started demanding that they ought not to allow some of the student formation to be speaking, and suggesting that they'll also boo down, for instance, the minister and a few other people. But you see, we had carefully negotiated with all student formations over weeks and months about the best way to run a convention like this. And we agreed on the format, we agreed on the program. The only question is whether the representatives of the students have relayed it to their ground structures. And you know, so we're dealing with it now. We have adjourned in order to be able to talk again with student leaders. And the idea is to find exactly, not within a session, plenary session, what are the points that they say ought to be resolved in the way they have to be. We're here for the students, to support them so that they can continue with their education, so that we can have peace and stability at higher education. So we had a taste of a disruption that is unhelpful, because the purpose is clear. We want to clear the way to try and encourage peace and stability while we're having discussions on transforming the sector. And that's why we have the minister here, and that's why we have those commitments here. So we're going to go back and talk to student leaders and remind them of their engagements and see where that takes us to. So I'll be back then.
When you spoke to the student leaders, as you've said earlier on, in the run-up to this conversation that we're having today, did you experience any of the challenges that they were raising today, any of the points that they were putting across, saying they don't want to speak to certain people or be addressed by certain people?
No, in all honesty, the program was negotiated by a steering committee in which students were represented. And you can see we've brought students in their full representativity. If you want a student, political or other or elected leadership, it is here. And the last thing we expected was this kind of disruption. But for now, I have to go to a meeting with student leaders and come back to you a little later. Okay, thank you.
That's my life.
Okay. We're asking if we can go back. I'm looking for him. I can't see him. We've been asked if we can go back to that side because the visuals are better and do the interviews from there. Okay. Okay. So we're just going to move and then we'll get you more. No. But we can just go. It's being recorded.
Nah. I'm in the right direction. la ku busy khona uzoyenzela ngale. It's fine. That's fine. Okay, my bag. Thanks. Thank you.
I did no tripod.
No man, these people are killing me.
Regular 6'9".
Wow. I'm born, I'm nice. On my left shoulder. The cheek. Look at me straight.
Just 30 seconds. We are coming back. Student delegations are concluding. We are just meeting with all of them there. We are expecting to be back in about 10 minutes. So there's no crisis.
We're joined by Dr. Ahmed Bauer from UNISA. Thanks so much for your time on SABC this afternoon. Talk to us about your thoughts when you came here and what you wanted to add as UNISA to this conversation.
I should just correct you. It's not UNISA, but it's Universities SA. It's the it's the umbrella structure of the.
Can we start that again then? Because we're recording. Okay, sorry, we're recording at least. So, Universities South Africa, not Universities South Africa. I'm just going to start again.
Stand there and just come forward.
We're now joined by Dr. Ahmed Bauer from University South Africa. Thanks for your time on SABC. Talk to us about what you expected when you arrived and what you would like to add to the conversation that's taking place.
Look, I think this was a very important meeting, and it's a great tragedy that it's broken up in the way it has been. And I hope that the conveners are able to pull it back together. I think the bottom line is that it provided us with a really important opportunity to have government, students, universities, civil society, all sitting together, to try and solve what is really a national problem. It's not a problem of the universities, or it's not a problem of the students. It really is a national problem. And the way that we can solve this is really by sitting and talking to each other. It's a pity that it's disintegrated in the way it has. And I think that, whatever happens, we'll have to think about new ways of reconstructing it, if you like. The role that the conveners have played up to now has been very important, and I think that we must try and find ways of supporting them in keeping these conversations going.
How difficult is it to bring together the parties that you've just mentioned, and why is this a good opportunity, and what should you perhaps say to students who are voicing their grievances and saying that they do not want the conversation to continue unless their demands are met?
Well, I think it's a very odd position to take, where we are facing really challenging times not just in South Africa and higher education, but more generally in South Africa. It seems like a very odd position to take, that there shouldn't be a conversation. That seems like a very odd position to take. So I would say to them that please, that there's a need for us to be tolerant, to listen to all the different voices, and that the likelihood is that a solution to the problem will come from that diversity of views. And it is important for us to get a diversity of views, because there is no simple solution to the issues that we have.
What would University South Africa's contribution to the solutions that are needed be?
Well, University of South Africa is an umbrella organization of all 26 public universities. And generally speaking, what we try to do is try to build a consensus position amongst the universities to bring to venues like this. And in fact, we had a presentation to make today, which we were hoping to do, but so the idea is very much that we would continue to work with the government and with civil society and with the conveners of this group, of this meeting, to see how we can arrive at a consensus about how to take the challenges forward.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed Bauer from University South Africa, speaking to us at the Higher Education National Convention. Thank you very much. We've interviewed him. That's the first interview that we had.
Are we live on this camera?
No. We're recording.
Okay, you can record.
Oh, we've had an interview.
Oh, you spoke to me? Yes. So who's first? Who's first between you and me? Allow my elders to speak first.
In the beginning, your first interview. Hello, are you ready?
Oh, you want to background.
Like this. Okay, all right. We're now joined by Professor van Rensburg from the University of Johannesburg. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Talk to us about, as University of Johannesburg, why you came here and what you were hoping would come out of these conversations.
Just a slight correction, it's Rensburg. So I want to say that we came here because we believe that it's an important opportunity for us to dialogue and debate critical issues that are preventing all of us from focusing on the primary objective, the advancement of free, decolonized and quality education. I think all of us are agreed on the pursuit of that objective, and in particular in the short term to secure free university education for the poor, but also to have a definitive and a deliberate program on the decolonization of knowledge, on the decolonization of our universities. So we all agreed on that objective. It seems to me that there are preliminary issues or prior issues that at present are preventing us from getting to that conversation. It seems to me that the most difficult issue that we all face at this gathering is a willingness to allow all of us to have voice. And I think that is the issue that we have to really resolve. I think we're at a critical point in the debate, the dialogue, the movement, student movement's program. We're at a critical point, but we cannot cross over the obstacle that's in front of us, in my view at least, unless we allow others to speak and to express themselves. And so it seems to me that is the difficult issue. The other set of issues obviously relates to demands for universities to de-escalate private securities on their campuses. It relates to demands for universities to lift suspensions or expulsions on students. And as Vice Chancellors, we have taken a firm view on this, that we can only advance together with our students free, quality, decolonized education on condition that our universities function to the best of their ability, that our universities are able to flourish, that our universities are able to be spaces of contestation and of dialogue, but not places of arson, of violence, of intimidation, of sexual violence for that matter. In those instances, we have taken a very firm view that we will not lift suspensions, that we will not lift expulsion of our students. And I'm just picking on that issue to illustrate that there are some difficult issues that are preventing us from getting to the big issue which is advancing a free, quality, decolonized education.
How do you as institutions deal with the kind of response that you got inside when you announced that you were there and your students or different students from university start booing and say they don't want you here because you're part of the problem? And how perhaps have you dealt with that at your university?
So at the University of Johannesburg, I believe we have taken an activist approach. And that activist approach has been that we have gone to each of our campuses just this year. In fact, just yesterday, we had an engagement with student leaders and student activists on our Bunting Road campus. We had about 200 student activists. Last Friday, we were on our Soweto campus. We had 300 activists. Previous weeks, we were at our Kingsway campus, 500 activists. At our Doornfontein campus, 500 student leaders and activists from across the floor. Yeah? And so the way we do it at UJ is by engaging, by having conversations and dialogue. And so the series of debates that we have had just concluded yesterday focused on two issues. The issue of the national student financial aid and the pursuit of free university education on the one hand, and the actions that we need to take and are taking at UJ on decolonizing the university. So it's an active, open dialogue that we've been running since the beginning of last year and that continues this year. And in that manner, we hope to be able to create space for everyone to use their voice and to feel safe in using their voice.
Thank you very much for your time. Aaron Rensburg from the University of Johannesburg speaking to us about what he's experienced on his campus and the aims of today and what he hopes to see from that. Thank you very much.
I hope that made a bit of sense.
No, it did make lots of sense. Hello? Sizwe Ngasana. What's he wearing? A white t-shirt. Must I go get him? He was doing the funding thing, and he's also doing schools. And what else is he doing? And he's on the NS first. Okay. I'll just Google it. I don't know what people are. Sizwe Ngasana. I'm just waiting for him to come out. Okay, there he is. Okay, he's on his way. Walking towards us now. But come on. Yes, he's just standing over there. I don't know if someone can go fetch him or something. I don't know. Yeah, I can be the floor manager. No. I was asked for one day. You have to massage our egos the whole time. Just be like, oh, you're so great. Like, I want you back. La, la, la. What's happening? Oh. Yeah. He's coming. Absolutely. Absolutely. How are you? Hi, thanks. Would you like to take it off or are you okay with it on? I think he's going to ask us to stand over here. Thank you. And then I'll just stand ahead of you. Just one step to my right, okay? Yes, I am. We're now joined by Sizwe Ngasana. Thank you so much for your time on joining us on SABC News. Talk to us about NSFAS, the difficulties you've experienced when you've been tasked with finding solutions to help students.
Well, you know, we this year moved to a new student funding model where students apply directly to the National Student Financial Aid Scheme as opposed to applying to universities as well as TVET colleges for the funding. So the migration process itself obviously is always going to have some issues, but I'm really pleased to say that the movement to the student-centered model has enabled us to fund more students at better average funding per student. So for instance, if you look at the universities, we already have funded about 190,000 students at universities, and the average funding that's been given to those students is better than what used to happen previously, where they were top slice. In other words, they were given less funding, which meant maybe by the middle of the year they don't have money for food, for accommodation and so on. Of course, as far as the TVET colleges are concerned, we've also had some issues in that sector, but again, we have really made a lot of progress in working with the TVET colleges, with the student SRCs particularly, to make sure that we could address some of the challenges that the students are facing.
What kind of solutions and what would you like to hear coming out of the Higher Education National Convention today?
The National Convention is really important in that it brings different stakeholders together to have a conversation about possible solutions to funding issues, to accommodation issues, to how institutions, including universities particularly, and TVET colleges are funded. So hopefully out of this convention, we'll start to hear all the different views that are going to lead us as civil society to really come up to solutions that will make sure we're addressing the fundamental issues that are faced by students, because at the end of the day, students have a lot of really important and legitimate issues that we need to address, whether it's government or including agencies such as the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, or institutions, universities, TVET colleges and so on. So we really are looking forward to making sure that at least out of the conversations that take place here, we can find solutions.
Have you heard of the kind of concerns that students have raised here today, speaking about the challenge that they not only face with funding, but the periphery issues? And with your experience as a banker and looking at student issues before, what would you say is the best path forward?
Well, there are multiple issues, and some of them are complex. But you know, they range from funding issues to security issues to accommodation issues and so on. So they're not simple issues where you could have one sort of silver bullet that solves all of the issues. The important thing is a commitment by all parties to find a solution to these issues. So, for instance, you know, the issues that, you know, there may be students who are still in prison, the issues that, you know, there may be students that are denied access to certain facilities and so on. All of those issues have to be discussed and are part of the discussion that's going to take place here.
Thank you very much for your time on SABC. We're going to go back inside. It was horrible.
Thank you. Thank you. May you sit down. Amandla! Amandla! Izwe late. I want to do all of them. Start there. Thank you. PYA delegation, please sit down. We're starting. Amandla. Okay. May you please have your attention, please? I'm even saying the please twice. May you please have your attention, please? Okay. All right. Mayihlale phansi bamba umthetho. Mayihlale phansi bamba umthetho. Hlala phansi. Hlala phansi. Hlala phansi. Hlala phansi. Hlala phansi. Okay. There is a request here before you even sit down. Lwando Machiza, there is a request that can we all go back to where we were seated? So that when we were outside, there was some agreement. Can we just go back to where we were seated? Or if your seat has been taken by a person not very far from your colleagues, let's just get going, please. Let's go rolling, please.
Comrades of the PYA, ANC Youth League, SASCO, YCL, please be seated where you were seated. Now. Juni. Taban. Comrades. Amandla. Comrades, we spoke about discipline. A viewer, please be seated, comrades, now. Please.
Comrades of the PYA, comrades of SASCO, YCL, ANC Youth League, and our deployees present today, we expect high discipline. We expect high discipline. Can comrades be seated? May comrades please sit where they were seated before the disruption. Comrades of the PYA, sit where you were seated before the disruption. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We met outside for a long time. It was not 10 minutes. And we always say that when student leaders ask for 10 minutes and it's 2 hours, it's fine, because they find one another. They have just requested here that there will be a summary of what was discussed outside, which will be dealt with at the end by DCJ. But at the same time, some student leaders wanted to continue speaking. So what we're going to do now, in the next 1 minute, we will ask the student leaders to declare here, to come here, declare what is happening. We'll give them a minute to declare. And they're here already, they're going to make those declarations, then we proceed. All of them are going to make that declaration. All the students are going to make the declaration in under a minute, then we will take it from there.
Okay.
Amanda!
Let's give them a chance.
Mandla! Mandla! Viva EFF, viva! Viva EFF Student Command, viva! Viva EFF Student Command, viva! Mandla! Comrades, we have agreed that with all formations, that we are going to move on. We want to listen to each and every one, because this convention is here to solve crisis. So as EFF Student Command, we have agreed that we are going to move on. We're going to listen to all speakers. And we don't want to be intimidated. I'm repeating myself. Regardless of a group, whether you are many or not, but to EFF you can't be many. We handle situations. So what I'm saying is that we have agreed to move, and we're going to move like that. SASCO, YCL, PASMA, and others, they've agreed with us. Sure.
Amanda, comrades, we as the South African Student Congress, we have agreed that we will sit in this convention, we will listen and engage any political, ideological discussion that comes in any form and in any content. We therefore, comrades, in the spirit of respect and in the spirit of seeing the convention reaching its logical conclusion, agree that we'll be disciplined, we'll engage as per and when the time is given to us by the person who will be chairing this podium. Thank you very much.
Amanda, the Young Communist League of South Africa is here to ensure that the convention reaches its logical conclusion, and our members must exercise superior logic, superior thinking, superior behavior, and also tolerate other views and be ready for the battle of ideas, and to ensure that we persuade everyone, and only when we listen to them. Amanda.
Izwe lethu, i-Africa, inkululeko. We are militant, we are disciplined as PASMA cadres. We are here to engage robustly on issues. It cannot be that on any podium and any platform that we are going to be discouraged or intimidated by anyone. We are here to discuss, we are here to take home to our branches and campuses amicable solutions. Izwe lethu.
Amandla, comrades, we as the Azanian Student Convention, we plead with you people, let's put our political affiliation outside and continue with the program. We have parents here, but then let's please, let's continue with the program. Amandla!
Amandla, Zweletu, comrade, we as South African Democratic Student Movement, SABC, have agreed to participate in this convention on the basis that the chairperson treats this gathering politically, so since it's a political gathering. We have requested the chairperson to act as a chairperson here and to make sure that he entertains people, those who also want to be entertained. He must never micromanage us here. And he has agreed, the chairperson, that he will behave like chairperson in this gathering. And we've also agreed that he will allow speakers to speak. And we are looking forward to make sure that we have a political dialogue that also might make sure that we come up with resolution in this convention. Thank you very much.
And comrades, we had I'd like to thank you. We're not going to take any more time. We're going to go on with the program, delayed as it is. And I'd like to thank you for the interaction we had and the very reasoned, disciplined outcome that you made possible. Yabonga, Nkosi.
Thank you. The agreement with all student formations independently and jointly was that the program continues as is, as they said, and that everyone speaks. So we called to order that we should not have allowed the caucus, we should have continued. In the program, we had two speakers that had already spoken. When we disrupted, the fees must fall was on the floor. The fees must fall was on the floor.
Ours is clear. As fees must fall, we continue to mention that we are a non-political organization that is not politically affiliated to any organization that is politically inclined. And thus, there is a point of emergency and there's a state of emergency at the moment, Minister. There are evictions happening at the moment at UCT under the leadership of Max Price that are not being dealt with at the moment. We are facing financial exclusions, we're facing suspended and excluded students at the moment, and this is an issue that you have not addressed as yet. As fees must fall, we have continuously mentioned that we are not in line with the NAFSAS model and that we reject it because it chooses and it puts us in a position where we must continuously prove our poverty, and this is something that we do not want to do and we have rejected. Minister, Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke, we come to you as fees must fall and we engage thoroughly in this convention. We are saying we're here to engage with our vice chancellors, we're here to engage with even the political formations that are here, but we need clear resolutions as to how we're going to move forward from this. We cannot have a situation where students are being evicted, students who have been brutalized by the police and our campuses are still militarized continues after this convention. It's either we get a resolution in this convention or we pick up with fees must fall as of next week Monday. And that is something that our constituencies back at home are able and capable of doing. We are not going to allow our universities to remain militarized. We're not going to allow our vice chancellors to not listen to not only our demands on campus, but that of their support as well in challenging the state for free, quality, decolonized education. Another thing that we are not going to settle on is the insourcing of workers, because we have made it very clear that the worker struggle and the student struggle is intertwined. If the workers in our universities are not insourced by the time that our vice chancellors had agreed to, we are going to take it to the streets. And as we had promised last year, fees must fall is not going to come back the way you know it. We are not going to be violent. We have never been violent, but we have been militant. And we will continue to be militant as so long as the state continues to be violent against us. That is something that we will maintain. Thank you.
Alphabetically, we go to Pasma.
Comrades, PASMA stands firm on the issue of a free socialistic education, decolonialized, decommodified, and a socialist education. We stand firm against the issue of any form of exclusion. As we sit here, students are being excluded in various campuses that we come from. Workers are excluded from the system. It cannot be that our basic component of a family is broken by the system that seeks to protect and guide us as custodians of this country. There were numerous consultations of this nature. We only hope as PASMA, with us today here, we're going to take home resolutions on how these things ought to be implemented. How are we going to attain free socialist education? It cannot be that we're going to be convened time and time again for such discussions and there are no amicable resolutions. Our academic projects are at a halt as we sit here. We should be submitting assignments, writing tests, but we are here to guide the government, to guide the relevant stakeholders as to how we want this free education to be implemented. Can our time not be wasted? Time cannot be recycled. Can our time as students, Comrade Blade, be not wasted? Nobusan. Student activism, time and time again, is being infiltrated. Fees Must Fall 2016, Fees Must Fall 2015 was not the same. 2016, we were highly infiltrated by the state, and we speak against such. Can we be allowed in our terrains to fight for what we vehemently feel is owed to us as students? We are unwavering, we are unshaken. We are not shaken by the heightened police presence. We are willing and we are ready to die for what we believe in. Izwe lethu, i-Afrika, ikululeko.
South African Student Congress, then SADESMO.
Amandla. Gawethu. Comrades, we were asked initially as per our expectation from this convention. In the preparatory stage of this convention, we had asked the conveners to gather each and every ball shifter here in this venue. Today we are waiting and we want answers as to why up until now we have not have free education. We want up until today to get the same ball shifters in the same place and they give answers to students as to why the National Students Financial Aid is trembling and why the National Student Financial Aid in the part of implementing free education it is not converted into a grant. We want free education, comrades, for the majority of the South African students. We want free education for the poor and we want free education in eventuality for everyone. Amanda. There has been a deliberate attempt to shift where the money to fund free education is. And that attempt has been taken from the government, it has been taken from the business to the government. The business in South Africa make trillions of money, but up until today we have failed to put in legislation that enforces corporate tax that responds directly to free education. We must get those answers today, and all those people that are responsible for those issues are here. The government is here. Business is here. Our parents are here. Judiciary is here. They must be in the same place and give us answers. That is why we are here, and we want those answers by the end of this convention, Comrade Chair. We are not being biased towards anyone demanding these particular answers. Amandla! Away too! Away with hooliganism, away! Away with hooliganism, away! High discipline!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. By the way, I'm Tim Zoashand under the banner of SADESMO. Our expectations were on the point that we support this convention as we agreed to it to continue. But it must be noted that as SADESMO we are very worried about the unprincipled unity that we are forced to live under at this moment. Because we are about to be addressed by some of the people whom, as we speak right now, our brothers and sisters are behind home. They've been expelled for 5 years and we are told that they'll be addressing us here today. We are very worried about the unprincipled unity because we are going to be addressed by the very same minister who have been promising now and then to us and not coming up with solution. We told him we want free decolonized education, he gave us NSFAS. And the very same minister is going to address us. We are very worried. As much as we'll allow this convention to continue, we want to say we'll continue with it, but let it be clear that we are not willing to act here. If there are people who are here to make sure that they behave drama, we are not. Because we have noticed there is high level of tendency. Even the resolutions, they seem to be as if they are already drafted here. And we as SADESMO, we are not going to act here. We are going to challenge it either with ideas here, and should it be that this process seeks to have some people who want to inject some resolutions to us, no, they must just forget. And it must be clear that political formations that are clear, they support fees must fall unashamedly so. We are not ashamed to support fees must fall, those clear political structures. We know that it is only those who are sellout, who are the ones who are submitting our names to vice chancellors. We know, but we are going to continue here on that unprincipled unity with the very same students who are reasons why some of our brothers and sisters are expelled at varsities, because they've been assisted vice chancellors to expel them. Thank you very much.
Okay, SCO alphabetically will end with the A.
Amanda. All right, Tina, we as SCO, we stand for free, quality, decolonized education. We stand for a decolonized education that is inclusive of African literature, African curriculum. We also need and demand accountability from the vice chancellors. We demand accountability from the university management. Accountability to our parents. They must be insourced. Our parents cannot continue working menial hours, cannot continue working extra hours, being paid shameful salaries. We demand that they be insourced, and they be insourced immediately. We also demand the militarization of our campuses. We're saying that we are not prisoners. We are the future of this country. We are not clients of correctional services. So we must not be treated like we are clients of correctional services. Campuses must treat us like the people that we are going to build this country. We are the future of this country. And we are therefore saying, treat us as such. We'll be accountable to our studies. We'll be accountable to being the best we can, but not under the conditions that we are currently studying under. Amanda.
Okay, thank you. Oh, the chief prefect. Okay, yes. Can we get the last formation, then we get the South African Union of Students to speak last. We'll do that now. Azaskos, please. Okay, just speak, then we'll have YCL and then...
Amanda. Students, we are missing something here. We are fighting for free education. Then the government and this man sitting here is giving us NSFAS. How is that possible that I enter an institution where after I finish my degree, I have a debt? Who's going to pay for that debt? So free education must be decolonized. And we as Azazco, we say free education must not start. Free education must start from primary level up until institutional level. This man sitting here, he must tell us today that he's going to give us free education. We are busy holding meetings that will dilute the fees must fall program. So me as a small child like this, from a poor background, the only thing that as a concerned student that I have noticed is that we must pursue political tolerance. No, please don't disturb me. Political tolerance to have a say in this country. As a mere student, you don't have a say. But then when you are in a political party, it's then that this government can listen to you. So my point ends there.
Thank you. We don't have enough seats here. We'll now have the YCL speaking. After the YCL, you'll have Saus speaking.
Thank you very much, Program Director. The Young Communist League is here, and we're humbled, Chair, to be here because we know the future of many students, the future of many young people of this country is resting upon how this convention is going to move. So as the Young Communist League, we're not here to act for cameras or for the gallery. We are here to shape the future of young people of this country. The Young Communist League appreciates that institutions of higher learning are a microcosm of society. Whatever happens in institutions of higher learning is shaped by what happens in our societies. And therefore, we plea with all student formations to put aside, for the sake of a discourse that we must today define, a discourse that does not start today, a discourse that started many years ago, a discourse that was started by many organizations that have existed in time. We are here to cement the call for free education for the poor, because we believe education is not neutral. We believe education is not neutral from class conditions. We believe, as the Young Communist League, that those that oppressed us, that those that own the means of production must pay for education. And we believe that the poor cannot be treated the same way if we are indeed determined to have equity with those that have resources. And that is an argument we are willing to forward. And in this argument, we call, Chair, for the decommodification of education. But further, Chair, in the argument and the discourse of decolonization, we want to make a plea in our conclusion that we need to begin to produce conscious academics, because the project of decolonization cannot be tasked on those that were produced by the same oppressive system. Today's academia is produced by the oppressive system. We cannot task them in defining the decolonization agenda. As the Young Communist League, we say, let us produce conscious academics, conscious students, students on the ground, students who don't act for cameras, students who don't act for the gallery, students who don't shift banners. And that's our message. Amandla!
So who speaks for all SRCs?
Manda, away too. Forward with free education, forward. Forward with free education, forward. No thanks, Program Director. The South perspective is clear, Program Director. South is the South African Union of Students, a governing body of all SRCs. And we have come here today to deliberate and engage on a shared perspective towards the transformation of higher education. Millions of young people across the country are glued on televisions today, eagerly waiting and patiently waiting for the resolutions of this convention. It is thus that as South, we call for unison amongst young people present here to use this sufficient time given to them to describe and draft proposals towards the transformation of higher education. It is our responsibility as leaders to say that colonialism did not end with the democratic breakthrough in 1994. Colonialism still exists, and therefore we must understand that the struggle for free education is a class contest. Comrades, we are saying as South, if government is interested in building a state capacity, it must invest in education. If government is interested in building a faster growing economy, it must invest in higher education. What we are here to say, comrades, and engage on is that free education, let us be able to stratify it. What we want here is only access to education, and education that is able to respond to the needs and the aspirations of young people in our country. Therefore, in order to address access to education, we are saying as South, we must be able to address financial aspect of free education. We must be able to address the infrastructural aspect of free education. We must be able to address the social aspect of free education, because we understand that the history given to us, the history shaped the direction of this country. So learning from history, we must use this convention today to shape what becomes the future of this country. Program Director, we are saying, in order for education to be responsive to the needs of our young people, we are calling for a curriculum content change. The curriculum must be able to be transformed to respond to the needs of our young people in the community. Amanda.
Okay. Because of what has happened this morning, And many student formations that were not originally on the list and they have registered as 2 or 3 delegates and so on have come forward. But we have agreed here that we will take that, that data of students that have not come forward. We will accommodate them at the end of this. There's 3 minutes that was asked for by the organization that represents staff. That's called SABC, academics and staff. Quickly come here, Dr. Matiti Madiba, speak, then we'll get to the next item. We will consolidate the student inputs before we finish. Please come. Fix the mics. Okay. Okay.
Tobela, as SOSNET, we appreciate this sitting. It has been our yearning as staff members from universities that we should have a critical, even if it's a tough conversation, around free, decolonized, and decommodified education. And we appreciate this moment that we are able to sit in the room as students, as staff, as VCs, as civil society, as faith-based organizations, as HEPAD. And I think it is important for where the country needs to get to, that we talk, we have these hard conversations. But out of these conversations, we emerge and we commit, all of us, towards taking our universities to the best next place. And I think we've heard where our tension points are. We've come to talk about our problems, and we need to talk about those solutions that can take us to a better place. And as staff members from SOSNET, we have a vested interest in making sure that our conversations out of forums like this take us to the next best place. We'd like to see our universities as places of growth for our youth, where they intellectually engage with all the support that is necessary, because that is our future, and that is where we need to be putting our resources. And we are looking forward to the next move that will really take our universities out of this crisis and out of the resulting conflict that has come out of the crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, I thought she's got a bodyguard. She's the only speaker with a bodyguard. Amanda, our time is about 1 o'clock, and we're supposed to have finished the 3rd session already according to the program. We've finished the students and the staff. Where's Professor Ahmed Bawa? He was supposed to have been here a long time ago. It's yourself? Okay, fine. Thank you. The chairperson of the USAF, University South Africa, Professor Habib. We agreed. By the way, I needed to make a point. Out of whatever happened here, the last speaker that you had agreed was going to speak have agreed to pull out.
So colleagues, I wasn't supposed to speak. Ahmed Bawa was supposed to.
Excuse me. We went outside, we agreed everyone will speak. May you speak on behalf of VCs.
Students. Hello, students. Please, this is an humble appeal to all students. Students, please sit. Let's give. Can you please sit down? Comrades, students, sit down. Let's give the speakers a chance to speak and hear them this afternoon and engage. I'll have to go there.
Okay. The speakers declared here that we're all continuing, and we said everyone that has been invited is continuing. May Professor continue, please. May Professor Habib continue. Speak. Continue.
So I'm going to speak above this. And the reason I'm going to speak above this is because people stood here and said that they want to be heard, that they want to engage in conversation. But then they don't want to engage in conversation when it doesn't suit them. This is the problem. You can't fundamentally change a society when you don't hear views and alternative views. So I'm going to say this. We are in a crisis. We are in a crisis in higher education. We're in a crisis because of protests. We're in a crisis because there's intolerance in our institutions. We're not prepared to hear anybody else. And as long as we're not prepared to hear, you're never going to be able to find solutions to the challenges we have. The crisis in higher education is never going to be able to be resolved because what it does is it contributes to a crisis in the society. If we don't resolve higher education's crisis, we don't resolve the inequality in the society as a whole. And so, in the coming months, we have to do a couple of things. We have to address the issue of fees. We have to address the issue of accommodation. We have to address the issue of labor standards. We have to address insourcing.
Hello.
Coming to you, I'm talking this one. Okay. Thank you. We'll make a plan.
Okay. Now, can you listen? Kanitule.
Okay, thank you. May I speak now? All right, let's sit down. Okay. Okay, sit down. Okay, please, sit down. Please sit down. It's fine. Sit down here. Just stand here. We want one person to speak. Okay. I heard you. We heard you. We have been through this many times.
As agreed, we said we are going to go according.
Okay, it's fine. We'll sort it. Okay.
We're not going to win this thing if we don't make that unity.
Okay. All right, let's make our point and see if we're making progress. Please sit down. We want to make a point and let's see if we're making progress. Please sit down. We will make the point. We have heard you. Sit down. Student leaders, we have heard you. Please sit down. We have heard you.
Okay. The complaint is that we agreed outside that we are going to continue with the agenda as is declared. And in the agenda that has been declared, that was negotiated, there was no space for vice chancellors. And therefore, the students are saying, if we were to change this agenda, we should have negotiated. It's a fair point. So we will then continue without the vice chancellors speaking and continue the program as planned.
Okay, you have been heard. Sit down. We want to make an announcement. Please sit down. Sit down. We'll make an announcement. Okay, this is what is happening. As Bishop Pumlana has summarized, when the deal was made with students, a point was made of who was going to speak. And they have a problem with Vice Chancellor speaking. Just like we're not going to allow another caucus now, we will proceed to the next speaker. We will proceed to the next speaker. It's fine. Yeah. Please sit down. We're proceeding.
Amanda!
Please sit down. Okay, thank you. Let's go back to our deal. The deal outside one was that everyone was going to continue according to the program. I think in that negotiation outside, when all stakeholders were, we might have missed one another and we want to apologize about that. And the apology is, we can't go back now. It was agreed that after students, there'll be a summary by staff and academics and by VCs. If there is still that strong view, in the interest of time and us continuing here, we will go to the next speaker. May we all now settle. No media interviews now. Please, let's sit down. The next item on the program is the Minister of Higher Education. Okay, so conveners, may we all agree that we're sitting down. The next speaker on the program is the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Blade Zimande. Amanda!
Amanda! Asibambeni my comrades, asibambeni. 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 I'm afraid. That's not fair. Wesivumelene, asibambeni. Thank you very much, Comrade Ivan, Program Director, Judge Mseneke, the convener of this convention, and your the conveners that we are working with, including the bishop here next to me. I feel very safe if the bishop is standing next to me. Business leadership, Ubabu Jabu Mabuza, I should also have recognized specifically Comrade J. Naidu, the first General Secretary of COSATU, and former Minister in Comrade Madiba's cabinet. Chairs of councils, vice chancellors, SRC presidents, student leadership from all the student political formations, government officials, and all others who are here who have been recognized in their various capacities.
Students, 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 please take your seats. The minister has to make his address.
We are at the Higher Education National Convention. Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Blaine Nzimande, has just gotten up to address students. What has taken place is as he got up and started speaking, they were singing, which he sang along. Students then, about a minute into his speech, started protesting. The students came from an aisle and it appeared as though they were going to charge the stage. Minister Blaine Nzimande getting protection from bishops who were there, what appeared like his bodyguard, people trying to keep the minister safe as students seemed to be trying to physically crash the stage. Now, just before he spoke, Wits Vice Chancellor Adam Habib had gotten up to speak. He was drowned out by the EFF Student Command, who had said that they had agreed to participate and keep quiet and not protest as long as Vice Chancellors did not get a chance to speak. They said they were going to disrupt the proceedings because Vice Chancellors will not speak, and that was not part of the discussion that they had had earlier on. The program director agreed, and Adam Habib left not only the stage but the convention. He gathered his bag, he gathered his water bottles, and he left, so there was applause then. Now, the convention has been interrupted many times today, and former Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke had gotten all the students who are here together. He had spoken to them and said that they need to proceed, and there was an agreement from student leaders. They got up on stage. We saw each of the student leaders from the different political parties represented here today saying that they pledged to listen. They pledged to listen even though their political views may not be the same, and they pledged to make sure that the convention takes place and reaches its logical conclusion. Obviously, as soon as Adam Habib started speaking, we saw that that was not the case. And And when Minister Blade Nzimande was speaking now, it's obviously not the case. Early on, we saw chairs being thrown, students physically rushing, people are fighting. We can see behind us people leaving the tent in a panic, people running out of the tent quickly, as obviously there is violence there. We saw earlier on that students were charging toward the stage, trying to physically harm the people that were speaking. We're bringing you live visuals from outside of people panicking and running out as violence is taking place inside the tent. Earlier on, students had thrown chairs. Now they're trying to rush the stage. People are running out of the tent in a panic. It was supposed to be a convention that took place to ensure there was dialogue and solutions could be found through talking with the different members of society. But we can see now that that's not the case. There is some violence that's taking place inside. I'm assuming that Minister Blade Nzimande has now been moved from the stage. As when I left the tent, EFF students and some other students in plain clothes were rushing up to the stage. It looked like they were trying to physically confront him. That's also what happened with Wits Vice Chancellor Adam Habib. He was asked to leave as it was not part of his decision. It's getting worse inside. People are throwing chairs. It looks like people are trying to remove Minister Blade Nzimande now. He seems like he's going to leave through the back entrance. Water bottles are being thrown inside. We can hear the program director imploring to people to not throw water bottles and not throw chairs. The convention, which was supposed to be a calm oasis of dialogue and discussion, has now degenerated into people fighting, people throwing chairs, people throwing water bottles, the minister being charged off the stage, the vice chancellor of Wits also driven off the stage by students singing, protesting and saying they do not want them here. SABC is bringing you visuals of student leaders in SASCO t-shirts and EFF t-shirts fighting, throwing bottles at each other. The people who are inside are charging. As you can see, people running aside from me. Sorry, sir. People attacking people with belts, people running past us. They just charged camera people. People physically attacking other people, a man running around. People have taken off their belts. People are attacking other people. People in SASCO t-shirts chasing EFF people. It's complete chaos here. People are now physically attacking other people at the Higher Education Convention.
But not
we are
in this
going
forum.
to be joined by Makoba Mkunu, who's also our SABC reporter. As you can see, people walking around with belts trying to attack other delegates to the convention. We can see that it's completely degenerated. There is no sense of order. There's a sense of panic that's taken place here. And it appears as though the objectives of the conference will not be met, at least not today. People have been pleading for calm and sanity, and it appears that that call has not been heard. It appears that people will be physically fighting with each other, people scrambling for safety, people running and chasing other people with belts. It's not clear at the moment which political or student parties are organizing this. But what we can say is there's violence taking place. Chairs are being thrown rather. People are throwing bottles. Minister Blade Nzimande off the stage. People are also threatening to beat. People are trying to beat other people. Yes. Let's listen to what's happening in the moment. We're just going to let you listen to the sounds that are coming out as well as look at the visuals.
All right, so that is Nzinga Kunta, who is our anchor there at the Higher Education.
Okay. May we have the delegation leaders coming to the stage now?
I nearly got hit by a bell.
Me and my red have been in the firing line.
Can we, delegation leaders, please come to the stage immediately.
Diabo is here. I can speak to her if we can't find Mangoba. Diabo. Okay, we're just on a break. What the fuck are they doing? Yes, we're doing it.
You also want to fight. Don't fight. You blocking me. How long will you fucking fight each other? You must be going to fucking fight what you want to do. Are we not fucking black people? Okay, let's fucking fight as white people.
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry? Can I what? Hello? We actually need to get one of those guys to speak. But also, why are you trying to hit people? We are at the Higher Education National Convention. We have just seen chaotic scenes, people spilling out of a tent, people chasing EFF members with belts, trying to hit them, saying that they are tired of the disruptions. Now, for more on this, I'm joined by my colleague, SABC senior reporter Diabo Seto. Diabo, you've been at the back tweeting furiously. Tell us what you've seen.
Well, it seems like the disruption here is definitely going on. I have been tweeting to say that things seem to be tensing up, as you can see behind us. There have been, once again, bottles flying around, chairs flowing around. It seems like the students cannot get a consensus regarding who should speak. Earlier on, Professor Habib was on the podium and he tried to speak. They would not let him speak. He actually tried to speak above the noise, above the singing. The future or how this convention is going to end today is going to be very, very important. But by the looks of things, I doubt that we will see the convention actually concluding today, because there seems to be absolutely no convention. The ANC student leaders, and particularly the EFF student leaders, they don't seem to be coming together regarding the way forward. We'll find out later on, and as always, SABC News Online will be tweeting all the developments that are happening, but it is definitely tense here in Midrand.
Diabo, we're seeing not just one party to blame for violence that's taking place here. Earlier on, we saw clashes between SASCO and the EFF. We've now seen chaotic scenes as people are running and chasing with belts. Why do you think, or did you see anything from your side about why these flare-ups keep on happening?
What I've noticed is that as speakers stand up and try to make their presentations, there'll be a pocket of group that does not want that speaker, and another pocket of group that actually want to hear what that speaker wants to say. Then that on its own, it flares up the tension between the two groups, and then before you know it, chairs are flying around. Before you know it, water bottles are flying around. Everyone is being evacuated out of the tent. Earlier on, just before I joined you, there was one gentleman from the EFF who was actually looked like he was being beaten up badly. We don't know what the story is, but we will be trying to find out what exactly the tension is. But for some reason, the Red Berets or the EFF seem to be somehow in the center of everything.
Yeah, well, earlier on we heard people saying that they're going to negotiate and try and make sure that the convention continues despite the tensions. From where you were sitting and the things that you were tweeting, does it look like we're actually going to reach our logical conclusion of the convention today?
It's very interesting that you should ask it, because I tried to squeeze myself in where Justice Museneke was speaking to try and find out exactly what he said. He was pleading, Zinga, he was pleading with the student representatives to please, let's let this go on. The only way we will know what your problems are is if you stand up and let the process go on. And for a while, it seemed like everything will go on and people were listening. I was actually tweeting that there seems to be order here. There seems like we're getting somewhere. Then before you know it, that stopped. So I'm very worried about whether there'll be any conclusions of this convention today. It is a 2-day convention, so I'm very, very worried about whether it will actually bear fruit and if anything will come out of it, particularly today.
We are also joined by Manqoba Mkhunu, who's from the SABC, seeing what's happening. Take us through the scenes that you saw from your point of view that just happened now.
Well, it was utter chaos inside there. As soon as, first of all, the Vice-Chancellor of Wits University, Adam Habib, took the podium, we saw total pandemonium. Students were clear that they don't want him to speak and they don't want to hear from the side of the Vice-Chancellors. And it became worse when the Higher Education Minister came to talk, because clearly they just started singing and they became unruly and they started, booing him off the stage. And that's why we saw that commotion break again. And the minister was forced to leave the proceedings and he was ushered to his car and then he left. I had a few moments just to try and get his sense from what happened here. And what he said to me was that he's very disappointed at what happened here. He's saying that it's unfair and that it clearly shows that the students are not willing to talk or that they are not willing to engage in this matter. So after that, we then again saw scenes of violence breaking out between the ANC and EFF members here on the ground, showing that, really there is that tension that's happening between the students' formations themselves as to the proceedings here today.
Did you see where any of it began, any of the violent theorists that you've seen? Was there a particular group that was agitating, or was it a mixture of everyone involved getting violent?
It seems at this stage that it was just a mixture. It was just people taking advantage of the situation. Just here on this side we saw the EFF again and the ANC clashing, and that led to a big fight. They chased each other and there were people that were injured. We just saw one of the students being ushered to the medical tent here where she's receiving attention because she was injured during that brawl. So clearly it's the tensions between the student formations themselves, and at this stage it doesn't seem like it's going to help in the cause of trying to have an engagement to try and find a solution to this. And whether this will continue or not, whether this conference will continue is not clear at this stage, because the students are saying that they're tired of talking. They're saying that they want action, and they're saying that they're not willing to engage if other student leaders are still arrested. They want those student leaders that are arrested also to be freed, and they're saying that they're not willing to negotiate and there won't be any proper engagement if that situation still continues.
Manqoba, earlier we saw inside the tent people trying to rush the stage when VC Habib was speaking, as well as Minister Nzimande. Did we see anyone trying to follow any of them when they were leaving?
I was with the media that followed the Minister of Higher Education as he left the proceedings. He was protected by his bodyguards, but the students followed him. Some of them were hurling insults at him, saying that he's the cause of this whole debacle that we're seeing now. So they were basically swearing at him, and he went into his car, and still even after he went in inside his car, there's a group of students that still followed him, that chased his car trying to stone it. So there's really a lot of anger from the student side.
Manqoba, giving us an update into what's taking place at the Higher Education National Conversation. Get back to you in studio. Hello? Yes, I can. Sorry about that. I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't hear anything in my ear.
Can we please clear the venue? Can we please clear the venue?
Sorry, I can't hear you. Okay. Huh? I don't know, I can't hear anything.
You should be getting something. Okay, I don't think they're sending something. Director, can you send something on the SD?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can I have my phone, please? I need to check about my child. Sorry, I'm not used to OBs. You must just direct me. If I'm making a mistake, just tell me. I'm happy to change. And I'm joking. I'm just... No, I'm fine, thanks. I'm okay.
for a short while. I ask you to listen for a short while. After very careful consideration, we as conveners of this process have decided that we are going to postpone this convention. And the reason for that is to ensure everyone's safety here. And the second reason is that the convention we had convened to listen to each other and to have a full, complete festival of ideas around the issues that you have raised and struggles you have fought can no longer be meaningfully held. And we have the duty to make sure that nobody gets hurt or harmed, and no property gets hurt or harmed. And we once again want to thank you for having come out, but we regret that the deterioration of the situation is of such a level that we are unable to continue these circumstances. The minister who was our guest, who we invited, who we wanted to hear, because we cannot resolve problems which are really within the hands of the state without the state, had to live in circumstances which were unacceptable. Equally, whatever we think about vice chancellors, they have an obligation to run the institutions we want to transform for the sake of you, our future leaders. And that cannot happen without the presence and the interaction with leaders of universities. They've all had to leave fearing for their safety. And I know that there are formations here who are very determined to go ahead. You share my sympathy. I am with you. And I would very much have wanted to go on. But it must be a convention that gives the answers to the questions you raised so well today. I am personally deeply saddened, so too my co-conveners. We have no stake in higher education, no stake in politics, no stake in except to advance the interest of our youth, who must carry our liberation struggle forward. So this was a deeply sad day, but dialogue continues. But we are not disappearing from anywhere. We're going to regroup. We're going to call all of you comrades and come and talk about a matter we cannot talk about, however angry we are, and one which we must listen to each other. There can't be heroism in shouting down and screaming. And look at the investment through all the donations we've had from so many entities to bring you here, to accommodate you, to accommodate everybody else, to have all of these facilities that were for you. And some amongst you choose to disrupt this. We have a long, difficult struggle ahead of us. It is not yet Uhuru, and we can't do it in a disorganized fashion. It must be within the parameters of discipline, of vision, and of a desire to change without shouting down. Whether we like it or not, we have a government which rules this country. And it is with that government that we ought to negotiate within the democratic strictures of our land. I'd like to thank you, particularly those of you who are so determined to go ahead. And I am so deeply sad, so are all our conveners. That's why they are here, up here with me. We're going to continue with the dialogue. We're going to engage with you. We're going to continue to search for solutions in a way, hopefully, that is orderly and that gets us there. I thank you ever so much, and may God bless.
Okay. Delegation leaders. We'll ask delegation leaders to resolve certain issues. This session is closed. Thank you. With logistics and so on, we'll deal with that. Delegation leaders must come here, one, and there'll be lunch now. Or you'll be briefed by your delegation leaders in the next 15 minutes. We'll tell them what happens now going forward. Thank you. There is lunch. Lunch is over there. Whilst you are having lunch, delegation leaders must come here.
Okay. Sorry. Siphumelele, we have just heard from Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke that the convention is now closed due to safety concerns. They cannot carry on anymore because of the violent scenes that have played out here. Minister Blaine Zimande, we heard earlier on, leaving the convention without being able to speak. Adam Habib leaving, being drowned out. We earlier saw and heard that SASCO members were beating EFF members with belts, saying they were tired of the interruptions. We also heard that EFF was throwing chairs and water bottles, people streaming out of the tent, people scared for their safety, people leaving. SABC crew as well a bit worried as people ran past us, whipping belts, throwing bottles, throwing chairs. Just very chaotic scenes happening here, and that has led to the convention being closed. Former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke, who was the convener, saying he's very disappointed because he wanted to get people from government, from civil society, students, parents, workers all together to make sure that there were solutions to the problems that are faced in the higher education department and in higher education. But he's saying that it's not closed permanently. There will be another convention, but at the moment it's not today. It's back to you in studios, Pumelele. Yes.
Listen, no, these people are saying this thing might continue. But they're saying it's closed for today, yeah. What they're trying to do now is that they're trying just to negotiate with the
Before you get that's why they died. But it was in the morning when I checked.
Can I just pick up that water? Did I give you my water? Or must I just assume that that's mine?
There's another one.